All right, we are playing someone from India. So we stick to opening principle. Let's start with the king pawn opening. I love going for this king pawn opening. So how is my opponent going to respond? Are we going to see a move like this? Maybe like this, going for the Scandinavian defense. Or maybe like this. Looks like, okay, my opponent goes for the Sicilian defense. So let's strike this way. My opponent took a lot of time there. And let's strike again. Let's strike the pawn in the center. Okay, my opponent strikes here. And I'm looking at going here, trying to land a check here. But I don't think that's going to work. That's not going to work. And do I go here? I'm really happy that my opponent is pushing pawns like this. They might be asking for trouble along these files. But for now, I have nothing. For now, I have nothing. But I'm really tempted to play a move like this. I don't think my opponent is going to play that. That would be really asking for trouble. But let's stick to principal chess. Let's just go back. I really want to leave this diagonal open for my king, for my queen. So my queen can always give a check here if I need to. But I think we have to do this. Let's do this. Let's just go here. Let's go here. Let's see where my opponent's castle. If my opponent castles here, I want to make sure I don't have most of my pieces sitting here. Like if I had brought the knight here, have another knight here, I'll have two knights here, which is not too nice. I don't think it's too nice. So I'm just going to go back here. Let's see what my opponent plays. I'm looking to play a move like this, looking at these soft squares. Those squares are looking really soft, while also developing a piece and preparing to castle on the next move. And at some point, I might be looking at moves like this with ideas of threatening checkmate here. Okay, let's go here. Do we bring out the knight first? Let's just go here. Let's go here. So preparing to castle next, and on the next move, I'm looking at this already. Okay, my opponent is playing this move, taking away that from me. They're taking away this square from me, but let's just play this move. Let's develop our piece. Let's keep developing our pieces. Maybe we get it with this move, and this knight is already controlling the center. So if my opponent does this, that's just a free pawn, and I could just grab it. Okay, they don't do that, and let's castle now. All right, I think I would love to do this. I don't want to get hit with this pin. Nah, that pin looks nasty, so we are trying to stay away from it. I'm looking to bring my bishop here. Maybe play a move like this and try to bring my rooks into this file. I'm also looking at moves like this. Doesn't seem to do much. Looks like the reason my opponent plays this move is so that they can strike here. So what if I let them strike, then I play this move, and okay, maybe I get it with this move. Okay, if I get it with that move, that will just be checkmate. So they can't play that. So let's proceed with developing our pieces. And if my opponent plays the, okay, my opponent doesn't do that. I thought they were interested in doing that. Looks like they are not. Looks like they are not interested in doing that. All right. Maybe they are interested in doing that, but keeping this defended. All right. I think I'm just going to ask questions now. Let's ask the queen some questions. Let's say, evil queen, what is your plan? I'm also looking at hopping in here. That would just be a nasty fork with the support of my bishop. I'm also looking at this move. Is that queen trapped? Is that queen getting trapped? Oh, looks like my opponent's queen is getting trapped. Okay, that's a queen trade offer. All right, my opponent is offering a trade, but that's a bad trade, guys. So it seems, looks like a bad trade. Okay, I think I want to play this move instead, because if I trade here, my opponent is going to capture here, and the knight is attacking this. And as much as I have this fork, I think my opponent can capture here, and maybe they are doing fine. Are they doing fine? Maybe they are not. But what if I just go here next? Ask the queen to go away. Where is the queen going? Where is the queen going? If the queen goes here, that's bad. If my opponent captures here, be my guest, they just lose a piece. Okay, so I think I prefer this move instead. And if my opponent goes back here, I'm just going to harass them with this move before I throw in this check and pick up the rook. Let's see what they come up with. Okay, I told you guys, I'm going to hit them with this move. Ask the queen to move away before I strike with this check. And that's going to be a fork. I'm looking at this move. Doesn't trap the queen. I really wish to trap the queen. I want to trap the queen, but looks like I'm not trapping it. It looks like I am not trapping the queen. Let's go here. I'm also looking at moves like this, trying to land a check here, but it's taking me nowhere. It's getting me nowhere. So let's try to slide our rook into the game. Let's slide this rook over here. Just putting pressure on this pawn. Ooh, and I'm threatening to capture the pawn next. I think I can do this. Just keep putting pressure on the pawn. Let's do this. Keep putting pressure on the pawn. So what is my opponent going to do now? You can't defend this way. If you capture there, that's a free piece. Okay, that's a pawn. My opponent is offering me a pawn for no reason. But we just want to make sure it's actually a pawn. And I think it is. I think it is a pawn. Still threatening this, and all right, my opponent is hitting this, and do I want to defend it? Do I really want to defend it? Probably not. If I play this move, okay, I think I'll defend it. The reason I'll be defending it is that I am actually attacking my opponent's king, and I think the more pieces I have attacking, the better. So that's the reason I'll be keeping that piece on the board. So let's go here. And if my opponent goes here, maybe I will have to sack, or maybe I just go here, try to harass the knight and ask the knight to go away. So let's see what my opponent comes up with. Okay, that's what they are coming up with. I'm really tempted to just ignore that. I'm tempted to ignore that, but let's do this. Let's kick this bishop away. We are going to capture this pawn. Let's just not rush anything. Let's not rush anything here. All right, we capture the pawn. If my opponent pins me, well, that's a useless pin, as I can just capture and I'm chilling. I'm looking at this check already. I'm looking at kicking this away first. So let's see what my opponent does. Okay, my opponent plays that move, walking directly into this check. So I'm going to hit them with the check. They're just walking into this check, and I think I want to hit them with this move again. Trying to ask the knight, the evil knight, please go away. And once the knight goes away, I'm looking at this check. There's no way this king is not getting checkmated. There is no way that king is not getting checkmated. That king has gone too far. Okay. Now I'm looking at this check. And where is the king going? Let's go for this check. Where is the king going? If the king goes here, okay, I'm looking at, okay, the king goes there. Let's go for this check. All right. Let's go for this. Okay, my opponent can block, but I think I have 1%. This is going to be checkmate. That's going to be checkmate. Told you guys, no way the king is escaping that, and that's GG's. Alright, it's time for game review. I played with 80% accuracy, and we are going to be examining what my opponent actually did wrong. The first move my opponent played as a bad move is pawn to f6. And why is that move bad? That's because the move weakens the light square around my opponent's king. So if they castle this way, we might be hitting them with maybe checks here, or maybe just prevent them from castling if a bishop is sitting here. So that is why you don't want to play moves like this in the opening phase of the game. You want to push your center pawns, and we proceeded to develop, and we have a line that looks like the Sicilian, and it's actually the Sicilian. And in the Sicilian, you want to bring your knight here, try to land the knight here, and trade the knight for the bishop, and you will be left with the bishop pair. But because my opponent has already weakened their king side, I instead declined going here, which I should have done, because according to in the engine, that's the best move. Instead, I just went back and proceed to develop my pieces and castle my king. You want to develop your pieces, castle your king, stay out of trouble. And my opponent is just going to struggle to castle now, because this bishop is taking away this square. And because my opponent has already traded the pawn here, castling here doesn't feel like the safest move. It doesn't feel like the king is going to be safe here. So I proceeded with this move, and my opponent pushed yet another pawn move. In the opening phase of the game, you just want to develop your pieces. You want to develop your pieces. You don't want to make irrelevant pawn moves like this, because you might get yourself in trouble. You want to play relevant pawn moves, develop your pieces, and then you bring your army into the attack, and then just pushing pawn unnecessarily, you are going to see how it's going to backfire against my opponent. I proceeded to develop my piece, and then my opponent developed their queen here, and I immediately spotted the tactics here, which is coming here, and with ideas of maybe coming here next, and then trying to land here. And my opponent actually made my plan easy, because after going here, my opponent plays this move, which is not the best move. And at some point, I was thinking I could capture. I was thinking of capturing here, and if my opponent captures here, then I go here, check, and when the queen moves away, then I capture here, and my opponent captures here. Looks like he's still completely winning for me, because I think my knight can actually get out of the position alive, because I can bring my knight here on the next move. If my opponent captures, I just capture, and I am chilling. But I kicked back against that move, and I paused for a moment, because when you see a good move, you try to look for a better move. And in this position, I found the nice move, this, hitting the queen and asking the queen to go away. Now the queen is left with this diagonal. This is the only safe square for the queen. If the queen goes here, that's just a free queen. If the queen goes here, that's a free queen. The queen can't go here. If the queen goes here, the queen is just walking into a fork. It will walk into this fork. My knight lands here, I'm hitting this, and I'm hitting this. So my opponent can't do that. And they can't capture here, because I have too many pieces defending that. So they brought the queen back. I attack the queen, and then land this check, pick up the rook, and my opponent is just in trouble now. My opponent decided to go back here, because I was threatening to pick this up, and it's just going to be chaos, because I'll be threatening to pick this up. I decided to attack their pawn, a move the engine is already frowning at, but well, I'm not the engine, and my opponent just started blundering. The king is just very unsafe, and there's just no way from saving that queen. And my opponent plays this move, trying to trade more pieces. But because I am the one attacking, I decided to keep my bishop on the board. I decided to keep the bishop on the board, and my opponent strikes here. And in this position, I was already tempted to ignore that and just capture here. But why should I be so reckless? So I just defended, and it's a good move, and I capture here, and my opponent is just in trouble. The king is just on the center of the board, and how is this king escaping? The king is not escaping, but my opponent just make the job very easy for me by stepping into that square. And then I open up a discover check on the queen, on the king. The king steps away. Then I play this move, hitting the knight, asking the knight go away. The knight goes away. Then I strike with this check, and the king goes here. And in this position, it's already checkmate in 5. If I had found this move, which is just easy and obvious move to find, but everything was just winning in the position, and I wasn't thinking really hard. And if my opponent decide to play a move like this, then come this move, and that's just checkmate. And if my opponent decide to play a move like this, then I'll slide my rook over here. I'm threatening to go here and then maybe come here, and that's just going to be checkmate. And if they try to create an escape square for their king like this, I simply capture here, and checkmate here is threatened, and my opponent just cannot do anything about it. However, in the game, I strike with this pawn check, ask the king to step back, then I come in here with this check. My opponent plays this move, I do the 1% is forced, and then I capture here, and that's just a beautiful checkmate. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.